All right. We back. We back with another episode 4, season 4. It's one all about community. But today I got a special guest. Wanted to do something different because I hadn't done it in a while. Just have some fun, talk sports. But again, it's still centered around community because the community sports program we're talking about is the Southside Raiders. And for anybody that's been in Madison, Wisconsin, you'll understand how important the Southside Raiders was to the city, the community, as a whole. And it's not a lot of people who wasn't impacted by the Southside Raiders probably over the last 30, 40 years easily, probably even longer than that. And our guest today will be able to tap in and touch on some of that stuff. So without further ado, like always, we kick off the intro and let's get to it. We back, like I said, another episode of the Fuel of Crush podcast. We got special guest Will Smith, the third installment of the Will Smiths. Shout out to Will. What's good, Will?
Chilling. How you feeling, baby?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Living life, day by day.
Oh man, and we already got people tapping in. Vernon Brown, what's up, man? Happy New Year's.
New VB tapping immediately.
You got to. This right. One is for the city. This for the culture. This is definitely for community. So let's just start it off. Will, give a small introduction on yourself. Where you come from?
Will Smith, Madison, Wisconsin. Raised on the south side, but not the south side. Rimrock Moreland Road. You know what I'm saying? My whole family's from the dirty south. 902 Sequoia, Taft Street, all that good stuff. Uncle Tommy, Aunt Dottie, Aunt Ree. The Rhines, my grandma in Sequoia. I was on the south side every day. My best friend Jinx James, aka Gigolo.
Gigolo Jinx.
Yeah, that was my best friend growing up. Him, Twan, and LaRon. We was a tight crew, and that's just me. That's where I'm from.
Yep, facts. So we just gonna jump into it. Let's just go back to the history. Let's start at the beginning because. For those that don't know, your pops is the one who started it and started at a very young age, which was super surprising to me. But like I said, it's something that's bigger than just football. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have all the major details on it, but I can give you what I know of it. So my dad was in high school, and for some reason he just decided he wanted to help the youth, you know what I mean, and create a youth football team. I think when he was like 15, 16 years old. And he got that shit up and running and just took off. That's when it started back then when he was in high school. So he had a full-fledged youth football team when he was in high school coaching kids, you know what I'm saying? And that he was a kid himself. And that's how it all started. That's nuts.
Which is crazy. So, man, one of the questions I had once I learned that information was like, how did he get the equipment?
I'm not sure. He did something right. You know what I mean? He got everything in order. I don't know if he had boosters, help, this, that, and the other. I was born yet. I wasn't even born yet. So it was, but he got it together, got the coaches, his crew, Gene.
Oh my God.
Will, I definitely gonna pause you. Go. What'd you say?
I said that's when they had the mustard and maroon uniforms back then.
I remember those. I've definitely seen a picture with my uncle playing in those. But no, I mean, but think about it. Like, there's no telling. Only your pops really knows where that come from. But think about just growing up on the South Side for even our time frame and how the community really rallied together to make sure we had what we needed. Cause go back to just being at the center. the center, we always did something in the community rally, because I remember Belinda and all them going around the community, your Uncle David, making sure to collect funds so we could do stuff. So like I would not be surprised if the community didn't help out and take in some of that on that part.
Yeah, I guarantee they did. The center, that's a safe haven for all of us. Like the center was just like was amazing for all of us. As far as sports goes, being social, community, all that stuff. Center was it. That was the place to be.
Facts. Do you remember the first year that it started, or the first season that he did it, and what their record was?
I don't remember the year, but I remember they started. It was when he was like 16 years old, so I don't know when that was, but it was a very long time ago, and this was with them old heads like the Hargroves and the Barlows and all them people that were playing my aunts and uncles, you know what I'm saying, was playing for my dad. You know what I mean?
Man,
your family.
Because people, I don't know if people know, like, when young ladies have been playing for the Southside Raiders for decades.
Yeah, and putting in work.
And playing, not just being on the team, they played.
Yeah, they played. They got money. They was out there putting in work. I know my aunt boys.
And was gonna give any dude the business.
Yeah, the Southside created so many tomboys that it was nuts. They had no. I'm talking. We had girls that would fight dudes, square up. It was crazy tomboys on the Southside.
Facts. That's funny because you had so many. Not I ain't gonna say so many, but you did have a number of girls that played and would hold their own. But then think about how many basketball All-Americans the Southside Raiders created after they got popped in the mouth and realized this ain't it.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
Bone crushers. I made bone crusher one time out of my career, and I was the happiest man. I didn't like to hit nobody. I was a finesse player, but I made it one year. I was salty. I never got to go to that damn party. The bone crusher party was the shit. Oh, the Bone Crusher party was always cracking. When they used to have the little after season parties at Pearlie's.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and you was a finesse player, so you didn't go get into it where everybody was checking the helmets to see how many scuffs you had?
Yeah, I used to go do them fake scuffs. You used to hit it on the concrete so it looked like you was doing something.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a different era. That's a different time. I remember Tyree when he had the suicide helmet and the face mask.
Tyree had a suicide helmet. I think Stink and Terry Roach and had the most stickers on their helmets I've ever seen in my life. Them dudes were just living to hit everything. You know what I mean? That was crazy. Rest in peace.
All right, well, since we talking about it, let's go into the archives. Tell me who you think were some of the top Raider teams, just off the top of the dome.
The top Raider teams are, well, I'll go from the man himself. As long as he coached, he says the top Raider teams were the 88, 89, and 90. So 90 was us, and 88 was Lionel and them. And my dad he'll never say it that 90 was the best. He always was like, I don't know. He has to do that because he has to do that. But he knows it, but he ain't gonna say it. But yeah, those are the best teams ever in Raider history. And every other team, shout out to every other team, they just didn't have it like those teams had. But Lionel and them was more construction, hard nose, hard nose cats. We was New Jack. 90 was just like fresh. We had the fades, the dye in the hair. Jack
that was when I was a water. That was when I was a water boy.
Yeah, you was a water boy. And so we was more New Jack, Hollywood. That's what we was. The greatest show on turf type shit. You know what I'm saying? And those other teams was some hard pipe hitting hard. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes was crazy. But we was finesse. We was Hollywood. We was on the sideline after we up by 50, going to concessions during the game and talking to the ladies and shit. Like that's how Hollywood we was.
Man, see, I don't think people believe me when I say it. Think about some of the scores that we used to put up.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous because our depth. We had so much depth on the team at every position, so everybody ate. It didn't matter, and we were such a good family vibe. And
only two teams,
right? And with such a good family vibe, everybody cared and respected each other and would just step to the side and go get money. You know what I'm saying? After they got their 2 TDs, go get that money. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And it just was, that's how it was.
And think about that level of community that it created then that still carries on to this day, because so many of us are still connected. Like, I'm still cool with cats that was 7, 8 years older than me because I was a water boy for those squads.
I remember he's a water boy for our team. I remember.
Yeah, man. And just beating the brakes off a team so bad that they ain't show up for the championship game.
Yeah, that was crazy. You know, they thought we was illegal. They lined us up in the middle of the field looking at birth certificates and shit like that. Like, come on, dog. Anybody out here grown? You know, I'm not. And I know we look grown because of the eating habits and the and the DNA some cats had. Now we had cats that looked like they were really 22 years old, but they was 12. You know what I'm saying?
Humongous.
Right, just body sadiqed up, everything. You know what I'm saying? You know, Kurt Brown looked like he was 22. Eric Dickerson body. You know what I'm saying? Lamont Murphy looked like he was Jesus. You know what I mean? Gargamel, Jamel Collins, he was crazy too.
Shit,
John Wright.
I played with Brendan Osucha, just humongous.
John Wright looked like he looked right now back then. That's how crazy that was. I don't know where this DNA came from, but yeah, it was crazy.
Man, now do you recall going back in the day where they used to have an ambulance sitting in the end zone, in the back of the end zone?
Every week, the ambulance was there on point. They knew somebody. They knew
somebody was leaving.
Somebody's going to ER. Somebody was going one way or another, and it might have been us too, just because we was concussed because we hitting so hard. It would have been us too.
Man, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, do you know how many concussions we probably had and nobody knew? They just told you got your bell wrong.
That's why some of these cats out here wild right now from the concussions. CTE, they have it right now. PTSD, man. And that. I'm telling you.
Hey, shout out to Troy Dean tapping in.
Yeah, because Coach Briscoe wasn't having it.
Man.
You could be fully concussed. You could be fully concussed out of it. He talking about some get your ass back in there. And you had to go.
You just got your bell wrong. You all right?
Right, you all right? Shake it off. Shake it off. My brain is bleeding. What are you talking about?
Shout out Darnell. Plenty blue tent moments, man. Listen, this is before the blue tent was a thing because we was out there seeing stars, but going back out there trying to hit somebody else.
Yeah, them Southside games back then, the community was just different, you know, because there's no internet, no social media. So it's all, you know, just building within the community. And when those days came, when you knew that Saturday morning had that lineup, or the mites, the lightweights, the heavyweights,
everybody playing. It was finna be a show.
Build up the whole week was bananas. Everybody could not wait.
The type of athletes we were was so crazy because guess what? As soon as we got done playing football, everybody was at the basketball court in cleats playing basketball.
That's what it was. And the whole South Side shut down, and that was how lovely it was when the games were being played.
Oh yeah, it was super packed. It was crazy.
Everybody came. All the drug dealers, they didn't hustle anymore. They shut that down. They shut down shop. They came. All the hypes, the cluckers, whoever it was, they was at the game too. Everybody was at the game with hot cocoa, coffee, or it might be some liquor, whatever it was. Penn Park was packed.
Oh, it was definitely some liquor in there.
Yeah, everybody was there. People sitting up on the hill. People sitting by them trees over by the hole. The stands were filled up all the way around.
Sitting behind the fence over at Park Village.
Yep, sitting behind the fence at Park Village. We came out that tunnel from the shelter. They had the cheerleaders, the concessions ladies, whatever it was. That tunnel they had, we came out that shelter. It was over. It was over before it started.
And the games was easy for us because practices was so hell.
Practices was abuse. That's what it was actually. You can't do that now. You're going to prison. If you do what they do now, you are going to the joint.
Bully in the ring.
Bull in the ring. We hit the hill about 14, 15 times in practice.
I hated that phrase. Hit the hill. I hated that phrase.
And if you started leaking towards that oak tree, when you knew it was coming, you know, that they had to blow the whistle and the motherfuckers want to start leaking towards the trees. You know, everybody say hit the hill. He'd go hit the opposite way. You know what I'm talking about? Because everybody trying to cheat.
Trying to cheat. And think about that tree. That tree was so big, you could kind of pause there and wouldn't nobody notice nothing when you're trying to catch your breath.
Right. And the 100-yard bear crawls. Briscoe was a straight.
Hey, shout out Barry Fox. He tapped in talking about bull in the ring before games. That's crazy.
Bull in the ring before games is nuts. That was just to get it up too. When they call your number, you had to do it. And it was
you
crazy.
had to. And if your head wasn't on the swivel, you was gonna get flatlined.
Flatline. That's what it was. It was crazy. Team didn't know what the team would look over at us and see us doing that while they over there doing yoga.
And they don't want to play no more.
They over there stretching, doing yoga, jumping jacks. We over here hitting. All you see is dust up, and people yelling and screaming.
I remember, and then even when I was, got older and we came back to watch, I remember when Chop was coaching and Joseph, his son Joseph hit some kids so hard that he was laid out. And the coach came over and said, "We're done. We're not playing anymore." And Chop was mad. It was like, "What type of crap is this? What you teaching your son? What you teaching these kids to give up when they get hit?" Man, that was so funny. He bullied them into continuing to play.
Yeah, man. Them games were epic in the morning. Early morning too.
The levels of conditioning we had, because remember the train when you had to run, go from the back of it, sprint all the way to the front. We kept going all the way until everybody did it.
The conditioning was the two-a-days. First of all, the two-a-days were hell because we didn't touch a football or do any kind of plays for at least a week. It just was straight conditioning, footwork, building your body, leg lifts, up, downs, all that stuff. It was just boot camp at first to get you in shape so you could make weight. Because if you didn't make weight, you had to go to Briscoe's house to make weight. And that's a whole nother story. Let me tell you about that.
Oh, and then chasing that truck?
I was off, I think, 3 pounds. So I didn't make weight. So my dad already called Cordio for the Fitchburg Steelers to get me a spot just in case I didn't make weight. And I was not going to play for the Fitchburg Steelers, which is a great name, by the way. This is the best football name ever, the Fitchburg Steelers. But so we went to Briscoe's house, and I think Lionel was overweight, John Wright was overweight, Todd Sanders was overweight, me, a couple other cats. So we go to his house. He lived by Elver Park. He had us eating grilled chicken and salad and running to Elver Park to run that damn hill with trash bags on. We did that shit on Saturday and Sunday, and then we had to re-weigh in on Monday. We all made it. That man was out there. That shit was crazy. That was Briscoe.
Shout out to Candace tapping in. She said nobody had the ambulance like Will era.
No, the ambulance was there. They knew what was gonna happen. Whenever you got some crazy, deranged, insane cats out there on the football field, like Tyree Prince, Stink, rest in peace, Terry Roach, all them cats like that, man, Slattery. And we had light skin. The light skin back then, something was wrong up there. They were chemically imbalanced. I'm sorry, them light skins was Rob Huddlestons and Mike Slattery's and all them dudes with Jesse Sanders and all. They was crazy.
Listen, Tumas was a different animal on that field.
What is he? Where's he from?
I don't know. Shit, Bram Hill.
I mean, them dudes, man.
No, yeah, it was just a different time, man. Just the way the city came out, supported. How many times I was talking to my mom last week? We was driving back by under the viaduct, and I was talking about how many times them cats would be running to hit the hill, and then behind the back batting cage, how they just keep running, hit the train tracks, and never come back.
Yeah, hit the hill, and we had some nice white dudes too on the team back in the day that could hit.
Man, listen, but they had to be coming fuck with us.
We had a foreign exchange student named Nikolai Pronk from Russia that moved to Madison, Wisconsin, and we recruited him on our team, and he was a hard-hitting white boy. I'm telling you, Nikolai Pronk. That is crazy.
That sounds crazy. So let's dive in a little deeper. Give me your top 5 running backs. Give me your top 5 running backs Raiders all time.
Top 5 running backs Raiders all time. All right, so it's gonna get controversial because we have some of the Bo Jacksons of the group that weren't very longevity with the Raiders, where they had 1 year. You know what I mean? So, but you kind of got to give it to him because the shit he did in 8 games was crazy. You just don't have 20. You just don't have 25 touchdowns in 8 games. That doesn't make any sense. That's just ridiculous. So so my top 5 would be Tim Beasley, number 1, and that's what I'm talking about. Only played 1 year, but you got to give it to him. Tim Beasley, number 1. Lionel Payton, number 2.
Lionel was nice.
Darwin Hoy, number 3. Whew. Kurt Brown, number 4. And at a 5, you got to go. I want to say Jinx, but he played everywhere, so he's not really. You know what I mean?
Candace said Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx James, all because he couldn't be hired because he played every position. You got honorable mention to Kwame Conley. Stanley's.
You get Vernon and
Jeff
Barry
Mack.
said Toast.
Toast. Yeah, but that's my top 5 right there. Oh, Steve, no, take it out. No, because Steve Ware was another 1-year wonder. Steve he nudged Jinx at 5 because the shit that them 2 dudes did was crazy.
Man,
that's a whole other story. How we recruited them. That NIL money back then was crazy. Let me tell you about the NIL that we gave the motherfuckers. Hold on.
What you call it was nasty too, though, when it came to running back. Bryson Franklin?
Yeah. Let me tell you how we got Tim and Steve on our team. So lightweight year, we was off to a good start. You know, we had me, Jinx, Jason Newell at quarterback. We was nice. You know, we was getting too complacent and whatnot. You know, we was Hollywood. You know, I mean, we went in every game. You know, we acting complacent, lollygagging at practice, and because we think our shit don't stink, we finna whoop everybody. Meanwhile, across town at Warner Park was a 7th grade team, the Rams. All right, and the Rams had Tim Beasley, Majestros, Walt Fudge, all these JD Norths, all these dudes on that team. My dad decided to do an afternoon scrimmage at a practice against them, just a scrimmage, not a game. You know what I mean?
That happened a lot.
He had to get us down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Because he brought them to Penn Park and literally scored 6 times in a row. And we didn't score no times on offense. Warner Park came, gave it to us, and left just like that. Woke us all the way up. Woke us up. And then we ended up winning the rest of our games. But we didn't. Then we ended up playing the Cardinals in our whatever you want to call bowl game, the second place game, whatever it is, because the Rams played Wisconsin Heights. Then we ended up beating the Cardinals that had Steve Ware on the team, and Juan Randall, rest in peace, was on the team too. So we beat them. So then the NIL money came into play. I don't know how they got these dudes, but for some reason they came to play with us the next year. I guess Tim found out that Coach Eugene was his father, so that was part of it. So that's why he came as well. But yeah, and so that's when he found that out then. That's when he came to play with us. And Steve was like, I'm on with him too, because we over here getting cooked. And we got them too. They had jackets, transportation, gift cards. I don't know what they was giving these cats. These cats, I'm telling you, but they just made the team, that just made our team a super team. We already was nice with Rainey, me, Jinx, Berkeley Johnson, Sharice, Dave Bridges. Our backfield, Terry Roach, Stink. Our backfield was crazy. We added those 2. And Chris Mosby, rest in peace, Chris Mosby too. That backfield was crazy.
Chris was nasty too.
The starting backfield was Chris, Tim, and Steve in the wishbone. The second unit was me, Rainey, and Berkeley. The third unit was Mike Slattery, Mike Franklin, and somebody else. I think Curtis Mitchell. I don't know. It goes on.
And in them games, everybody played because y'all was beating the brakes off of everybody.
Yeah, that was the greatest team on earth, 1990.
Troy Dean said Charles Dean had the rushing record before Tim had it.
Charles Dean was nice. Quiet though, you know what I mean? Quiet, humble. Always been like that. Charles was nice. Forgot about Spencer Johnson. He played for us too. Wild for the night. He was crazy too.
Barry said Keith at quarterback.
Oh yeah, I was at recess one time at Senate, right? We out there just playing around. This is before the football season. I see Keith out there throwing the football. I'm like, what? I'm like, Keith, you ever play football? He's like, nah. I'm like, you want to? He was like, I guess. We got Keith Miller. That was crazy, you know. And he was, you know, when you in 8th grade, you 5'11". That's crazy. He just slang that rock, and he was the sunshine. That quarterback was crazy. he for real.
Troy said we had warm-up suits. I don't remember warm-up suits.
Yeah, I don't remember warm-up suits either. I don't know what Troy talked about. Warm-up suits.
Troy had some different kind of NIL money.
Right.
Yeah. So all right. So I know we've birthed some greatness coming out of there. Give me your top 5 Southside Raiders to make it to the league.
Tyrone Braxton, Derek Stanley, Jeff Mack, who am I missing? Tim Jordan, maybe.
I don't know. I know we've had Jordan. Some. I just don't know them all. I know you know more than me.
And I think who else? Who am I missing?
The Thompsons didn't come play with us, did they?
No, they played for near West Side.
That's what I thought. They was over there with
Tim Jordan, and then there's one more that went to the league. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, Tyrone Braxton, Derek Stanley, and Tim Jordan, and Jeff Mack. Jeff Mack was crazy too. He was nice.
Jeff was different for his era. Jeff was humongous as a middle schooler.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he was Amistad. Give us 3 humongous. You know what I'm talking about? That's how he looked.
Jeff Sr., rest in peace. Jeff Sr. had him on some other stuff because I'm like, hey man, this dude is too big.
Yeah, he was out there eating protein. They had good money. Me and him, we used to have sleepovers all the time. I used to go to his house. He was proteined up, man. Steak, red meat, ribeyes, chicken, fish, all the good sides. Kirby was out there cooking. You know what I'm talking about? Like, hey. He had it when he lived. We used to have sleepovers all the time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good food. And even thinking about just some of those special Raider teams. We already talked about the 80s, the 90s, and then I also talked about just that squad that I was on that last year with me, Alva, Adriel, the Kilgores, Aaron Evans Jackson, Thad, Vince Murray. Yeah. Man, that shit was crazy to the point where, like, I don't know how it managed to happen, but I believe we're the only team that left the state to go and travel and play in like a Midwest Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then being able to secure the win going down there, and like they didn't have no, like, you know how we had the weight restrictions. They ain't have nothing. So our most athletic player was Theo. And Theo was our left tackle. We put Theo in the backfield. Theo had never ran the ball ever. Remember how they used to talk about carrying like a loaf of bread?
Yeah.
That was Theo, but could nobody catch him? 2, if you got in front of him, you was going to feel it. You was going to feel every bit of what he was running with.
Yeah, we had our Mike year, we had Ricky Fleming, little Rick. We had him at running back. We called the play the Ricky Special. Rick was literally in 1988, 4'1", 275 pounds. We used to hand that cat the ball. He would carry everybody down the field. The Ricky Special. Hand it to Ricky. And he was a gymnast. Everybody, Southside produced. Let me tell you about this. Southside X Games, gymnasts, martial arts. Cats just learned how to do all that at the shelter.
Man, the shelter. I was so sad when they redid it or whatever they did to it, because the shelter was different.
Man, we had Olympic gymnasts for no good
reason. First of all, you had to be an athlete to get on top of it.
These cats was out here doing. I'm talking from Kevin Lofton to Ricky Fleming. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hold on, let me redo these again. You can hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, they had cats could flip like no other, man. I'm telling you, like, it was crazy.
Troy Dean said he still might have the Mites Division Champions trophy from '89. I definitely got trophies at the crib still at my mom's house. I know I ended up winning most improved player. And just think about how just prepared we were as young when it was our turn to play, because the Mites, the Little Raiders, 4th, 5th, 6th grade on the 6th grade team. Big Raiders, 7th, 8th on the 8th grade team. Now they got like a team for every grade, and like I don't think them kids are really getting better or getting challenged the way we were, where you had to earn minutes, earn spots. If you played on the 8th grade squad as a 7th grader, you was nice. You wasn't just going to get handed no minutes.
Randy Briggs did that. He played up with us. You know what I'm saying? He was a monster. You know, that whole Briggs family. Yeah, he was.
Randy talked about before. He said when Stink hit him, he said that was a different wake up call.
It was. Stink was a whole nother animal, man. That was crazy. I missed that dude. He was the foundation of our defense.
Damo asked, do they still give out the Bone Crusher Award? I highly doubt it.
I doubt it because don't nobody hit like that no more.
No,
you can't.
It's right. But there's the other thing. People don't really know that all them Little League football rules are because of us. They started implementing rules in mid-season.
They got rules now that don't make no sense. You can't throw no more if you have 2 touchdowns. You can't you got to run every down. The clock starts running if you're up by more than 15. You got to do this.
Play your starters.
Can't play your starters. It's like, man, what you getting them ready for?
I have no clue. Because, I remember catching like a 5-yard out and running it for 60 yards scoring. And they called it back and said, you can't pass after being up 3 scores. I was like, what?
Right.
How did y'all make this a rule randomly?
That shit was no holds barred when we was playing. My dad used to keep the pedal to the metal on your neck. We was trying to score 70 every game.
Oh, man, listen. Championship games having scores of 77-0.
I see Adam Tippery tapped in. Adam Tippery was nice, but he was nice at Warner, the Cardinals. He was nice.
And now for y'all era, did y'all have a rivalry?
Yeah. It was always either the Cardinals or the Rams. You know what I'm saying?
And see, we didn't have the Rams. It was either the Memorial Westside Spartan team or Warner Park because they had musclehead Martin Howard.
Yeah, they had Fitch Verona came one year. Fitch Verona, and then they had the Westside Spartans. That's when Berkeley and Briscoe left us, and they came right the fuck back. They left us 7th grade year, and we went out there to Memorial and cooked them, and they came back. Briscoe was on some, like him and my dad had some kind of like bumping heads thing. You know, they got into it and they weren't agreeing on shit, some power control shit or something like that. Briscoe dipped off, went to the Spartans, took Berkeley with him. We went out there and whooped their ass. I had the first 2 touchdowns on quick pitches.
And it was just coming to the South Side for practice was different. And think about where kids was coming from. I know we played against some kids that was living on the North Side that caught the bus.
Yeah, practice was everything. You know, the greatest game ever known was our inter-squad scrimmage, 8th grade year. That's when my dad split our team up to 2 different teams and had us go at it for 4 straight quarters. And that shit was bananas. That shit was
Adam
crazy.
said we always beat the stuffing out of the West Side.
Yeah. That inter-squad game was I wish we had film of that because that was nuts. We finally got a chance to hit each other for real. And some cats was out there going for everything. He said Wolverines thought they were a rivalry was the one. The only reason the Wolverines have anything to say, Rainey, is because y'all let them sneak y'all for a victory, which you should not have. That had me heated. That Vernon got Vernon sold his soul, left.
Oh man,
play for the
he ain't
Wolverines,
never gonna let that go either.
And he's so happy he got that victory against Rainey and them after we left. Mind you, the year before we beat them 77-0. They had Donnie, Bryson, Bob Garl, Joey Gray, Renee, Vince Calabrese. They had all them cats, Derek Gregory's. They had all them cats on that team. We beat them 77-0 at their house behind West. And then Vernon always want to hold on to, we got them the next year because Rainey let it happen. Come on, Rainey, why do you let that happen?
Hey, talk about the girls that play because I believe Candace started wide receiver. Give me some of those.
So you got to go back. You got to go way back with Mary Henderson, my auntie Dewana, my auntie Charmaine, I think Val. Who else
my
played?
Aunt played.
Your aunt played. Couple others back then. They started, but Candace came in. First of all, as we know, Candace is the best athlete ever on the South Side, all the way around, and she's a female. Whether it came from baseball, football, basketball, soccer, flipping, running,
man,
racing, jumping.
I remember playing soccer with her too.
Yeah, soccer. Candace was the best. Well, Candace is my little sister. Like I taught her everything she know. You know what I mean? Candace was always with us, following us, and she was the greatest ever. You know what I'm saying? Candace her and Jinx Her and Gigolo. I'm telling you, them two was the greatest athletes on the South ever. And yeah, Candace was something. Nothing nice. Nothing nice.
And now, did Reese play football in high school? I know he was the quarterback.
No. Reese took one tender hit and it was over for him.
The Southside Raiders turned Reese into a top 50 player in the country in basketball.
That man took one hit. He said, "I'm out of here." Same shit happened to Tim West. Tim West did the same thing. He's like, "Nope, to the 3-point line I go."
But now speak to like that community feel for like, it was like, I felt like it was a rite of passage playing for the Southside Raiders. Like if you grew up on the South Side and you didn't play, you kind of missed out on a moment. I know the Greers couldn't play, but they literally were like the only black family on the South Side that I don't remember playing.
Yeah, everybody played, or at least tried to play.
Right, you at least tried. You might have got hit and been like, "Y'all, no, this ain't for me," or you hit the hill one time and kept running over it and never came back. But felt like everybody tried.
Everybody, you had to play and you had to try. And if you didn't get it, I mean, it was what it was. But that's what it was.
Candace said Reese was the only quarterback that sagged.
Reese was crazy, though. Yeah.
Hey, so you know what? Same goes for Mike Collins. Mike was getting tossed around like a rag doll. That year, his 8th grade year as a quarterback, I believe he like separated his shoulder, and that was it. That was that last one.
Yeah, I remember the sleepovers. Remember the sleepovers?
Listen, and don't be the first one to go to sleep.
Yeah, them sleepovers was crazy.
And it depends on which sleepover you're talking about. The ones at Briscoe House or the ones at the center?
It's the ones at the center. That had to be the liabilities that were going on back then. Oh my God, that had to be that. Hey. You can't put, man, we had the center was filled with the mics, lightweights, and the middleweights, all in one facility. So you think about the age range from there. You got
nobody fell asleep
to 14-year-olds. You have 117 of them in the center, locked in with pizza and sugar and high fructose corn syrup in your system. That's what you got in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Pool balls.
Pool balls. Oh, let's not talk about my dad. See, I don't know why he brought that up. The pool ball incident.
Talk about it. I want to hear this one.
Okay, it's night. It's night. We had a curfew. We had to go to sleep. We had a game the next day. We get dressed at the center, and then we go walk up to the park and play. So sleepover. We get lights out at like 9, 10 o'clock. So obviously everybody's wide awake because we pumped up on sugar and pizza. Ain't nobody ready to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Cats will drink 8 Mountain Dews. Talking about some go to sleep. that ain't happening.
Ain't happening.
Right. But so we are all in the gym. Lights out, sleeping bags. Some classes sleeping on the floor. It's pitch dark. Terry Roach in there throwing pool balls. Pool balls. The 8-ball. They throwing it. It hit somebody in the face. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, wow.
They ran out and told. And obviously my dad come in yelling. And who was the first motherfucker my dad gonna run up to? Me. I'm like, Dad, you got me out here. You trying to have me tell on somebody in front of all these people? You know what I'm saying? I don't know who did it. I don't know. I held my own though. I ain't crumbled. Because I knew if I was told on somebody, I'll get my ass whipped in that gym. I knew that. I was like, Dad, ain't no way I'm gonna tell on somebody right now. And you gonna leave me in here with all these. They go, no, and no. No, but I can say it now. It was Terry Roach. God damn it, it was.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you couldn't go to sleep. You couldn't go to sleep because if you went to sleep, they was gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
You find kids balled up in the strangest places trying to hide to go to sleep.
Yeah, you had the gym, you had that commons area, like the lobby area. You had that little computer room.
Upstairs.
You had a little computer room. You had the upstairs. Upstairs had all the offices and whatnot.
The meeting rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, we was trampling all up through that motherfucker, man. That shit was good. Sleepover was so much fun.
And the craziest thing is, like, as wild and crazy as it was, like, we ain't never really break nothing.
No, we didn't. If you think
it was dirty, but we ain't break nothing.
Yeah, man, that shit was so much fun, man. I love that. Then we all took our picture the next day on the stairs right there, and then went up to the park to whoop somebody.
And think about, like, back in the day too, like, you know, the coaches. I ain't gonna say that the coaches don't care anymore, but the level of of freedom they had to discipline and coach us ain't the same. But remember, we had like you had to go do study table. If it was a day you ain't had practice, you was at the center doing homework.
Yeah, and our coaches could discipline us. It was just free. It was free reign. All bets were off. Like if we talking shit or doing something wrong, any coach could grab our face mask, smack us upside the head, whatever they want to do. We couldn't do nothing. My parents, they wasn't mad at each other. Coaches could give it to us any way they wanted to, and that's what made us so good.
No permission slips.
None. No permission slips.
You just show your parents knew where you was, and they knew you was in good hands.
Yeah, that's what it was. Everything was safe back then. Wasn't no kidnappings. We were so independent. You know what I mean? It just was. That's what it was. Being outside all day.
Do you think that we could get that level of Southside Raider dominance and community back?
You can't. These kids aren't ready. Too much screens. They're on the couch. You look at these football teams, and they don't grow. These kids don't grow no more. They're small. They're small little violent motherfuckers. That's what they are. The kids these days, it ain't never happening again. Can't change where we were. It's not happening.
You can't change where we were, baby.
It's not happening again. Not these kids. You got Madison High School teams that got 25 kids on it.
Man, that is crazy. Like the numbers ain't there no more. Yeah, I also think like it got diluted when you started. You had 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade team. You got 5 teams.
Yeah, that's hard to. It ain't never gonna happen again like that. I mean, in my coaching, I coach youth. I coached the Lancers from when they was in 4th grade to 8th grade, and we played Southside every year and just smoked them like a pack of cools. It was it just wasn't there. You know what I mean? You got to get a coaching foundation too. Like it's just your coaching. It starts with the coaches. You know, the bond that they have and what they need to put together, and that's where it starts. You know what I mean? No disrespect to any of the coaches, just that you got to get the right recipe together to make it work. You know what I'm saying? But it just the kids
going back
to don't listen.
The kids don't listen. We got to get back to the parents buy-in and making sure that they're there holding accountable so the coaches don't have to hold them accountable. If we do, it's like an added on discipline, not the only disciplinarian.
Right. You got parents fighting at games and everybody got to chime in. And yes.
And talk about how many freaking kids were saved by the Southside Raiders just growing up, because it ain't no telling what we could have done or been. And hell, it still didn't save everybody, but just imagine if it wasn't for a period of time, a safe haven for them.
Yeah, I mean, it saved a lot of people, especially during that time. Like that was playing football. Those 3-4 practices a week in the games kept cats off the streets, and cats. That means cats still hustled and did what they had to do, but that saved a lot of souls. You know what I mean?
It definitely did. Like, I just think about how many guys that I grew up with are the ones that were ahead of me, like y'all, but then the ones that came after, is just like once it started to change, you saw that split, and you saw kids younger and younger getting in more and more trouble.
Yeah. It was definitely a safe haven. It was a great community like back then. And I just loved every bit of it, man. You could smell that football in the air, and game day. It was when you had that smog on the ground or fog, whatever you want to call it, that mist. And,
that mist.
It's cold out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's ready to get it in. That whistle blow.
No holds barred.
No holds barred. That whistle blew. That whistle.
Man, it sucks too, because truthfully, like, I don't know if I like having girls and coach them through basketball now. Like, if I don't know if I would. Let's just say I had a son right now that was 5. I don't know if I would be trying to prepare him for football just based on like all the stuff that we know happens with these injuries now. But it was so much of it that we needed. Like, it taught a different level of toughness. It taught a different level of character build. It's just a different time. And I don't know if we could do that again, but I do feel like we got to give back to the youth in some way. I don't know if that football route is it anymore, but we got to figure out something.
Yeah, I think we got to consolidate some areas together and have less teams, and it hit one league with it. You know what I mean? Like, even in high school, like East and La Follette need to combine and just say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It's just for football, at least, I wish that could happen or something like that, because it's down bad right now for Madison schools with football.
I would even say basketball too is oversaturated, especially with 97 AAU programs around here. So instead of being able to go on a national scale and make noise, you only got one. You got 8 teams with one good player.
Yeah,
and then everybody else is developing.
And Craig say Raiders saved me from going back to the Milwaukee streets. Sure did, Craig. Craig was the one lightweight year. Wishbone formation, end around the Craig. That was a crazy play. We ran that motherfucker about 17 times a game.
Man, they don't even run the ball no more like that. It ain't football is so spread out and pass happy.
Yeah, Craig was on the wing. It was wishbone. He faked. It was fake 33, fake 28, quick pitch. Hand off to Craig coming around.
The craziest thing about it is you still remember them damn plays, especially being able to call out numbers.
Yeah, I remember all them damn plays. I remember we played Stoughton with Craig one year, and they called back like 6 of his touchdowns. We were not leaving there with a victory. Them referees made sure of it. It was that bad. Briscoe and my dad almost whooped the coaches and the refs, and we was all the way out there in Stoughton. We were not leaving there winning that game. They were making sure of it, and it was this blatant cheating. That shit was crazy.
And I think that, you know, because of the name that we had at Southside Raiders, and knowing that we were going into a game where the refs were not on our side, it was like a different level of us against the world, and a mental toughness that I don't see anymore. And that goes for just sports across the board.
Yeah, the refs were definitely against us. Cause we were a well-oiled machine. We were too put together. And it was hard for them to see African Americans be this professional and look at these cats. You know what I mean? You got 47 kids, all uniformed up, every helmet is the same color. They got their chants going on. They bring their fans move with them. You know what I mean? We going to Stoughtons and Veronas with all black people pulling up. You know what I mean? At the game, like it's a home game. Shit was crazy.
And you got 47 kids that are disciplined by the coach and angry as hell. And the coaches are like, soon as that whistle blows, I'm letting y'all off the leash. Let's go. Exactly.
You know, and it was a comfortable feeling because the backups knew they were going to get in because everybody cared about each other. No one was selfish. You know what I mean? No one was trying to, I need the ball every time, this, that, and the other. Cats were subbing themselves out. Everybody ate. And when everybody ate. And that's why that 1990 season is the greatest season of all time in Raider history. Numbers, the records.
No, it was definitely a great time. Shit, before we get out of here, we got to talk about a couple more positions. Give me top 5 quarterbacks.
Top 5 quarterbacks. Keith Miller, number 1. Chad Nelson, who passed away, rest in peace, number 2. He's another white boy that was crazy back in the day. You got, Reese was nice. Xavier Miller was nice. Damian Johnson was nice. J.J. Patterson was nice. Chancellor Mitchell was nice.
What's funny is you naming all these names, and I can't remember too many of them because we were so dominant with the running game. It's crazy.
Yeah, Jason Newell was nice. TK was nice.
Shout out to Candace for throwing one back. Darrell Parker.
Darrell Parker was nice. Yeah.
He was cold. And then they went back to Mississippi or something, or he did.
He left and never came. We ain't seen him since. He went down south to the military somewhere. I don't know what. We heard stories about him. It was like rumors that he was a baseball player about to go to the MLB, and I ain't seen him since. Him and Reese was like this, remember? Yeah, I ain't seen him since.
Oh man.
Yeah, but Keith Miller is the best quarterback ever to bless the Southside Raider field.
Give me your top 5 Southside Raiders that turned into basketball stars. You might even have to go deeper than 5.
That turns into basketball stars?
Yeah.
Reese Gaines is one of them. Sharice Dupatti is one of them. Who else? There's a lot of cats that turned to basketball. Tim West, I think. I don't know. Are you saying turned into basketball stars because they got hit too hard, or because they just do that? That's what they want to do. Which one are you talking about?
We can start with the ones that realized football wasn't going to work because they got tapped on. But we can also talk about just what the Southside Raiders created as athletes and basketball stars too.
I mean, not many. I mean, people, they still were basketball stars, though. If you look at the Spartans and the people from, the Spartans were dominant.
If you play with the Raiders, typically that next season you was playing basketball with the Spartans.
And the Spartans were so dominant.
Look at Candace.
It was crazy. Candace is stupid. Yeah. Yeah, the Spartans the domination was crazy.
Literally, you go on a national scale with kids from the neighborhood.
Now we had kids, if you look at the Spartans, we had kids in middle school, like Rockman Weatherby is one of them. That man was doing 360 windmills and shit when he was 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and you got cats like Lomack. I'm talking about Charles Lomack.
Lomack.
Juan Randall. Rest in peace, Juan Randall was an all-around mechanic on the court. Do everything. Jack of all trades. Rebound, pass, steal, talk shit, shoot, hard nose, attitude.
Shit, DeAndre Buchanan, 8th grade, he like 6'5", dunking. I was like, this is crazy. I remember playing in middle school games, and he just dunking on kids.
Yeah, Toast. Toast became one of the greatest basketball players ever in history. I thought Toast is Tom Shepard. For real. No.
He literally was. I remember him playing ball without a ball at Penn Park all the time.
In the dark. It'd be midnight. He'd be out there dribbling with no ball. He'll come
and nobody could stop him.
He comes to the center in a game of 15 with ones and twos. He's scoring at least 11 of them. You couldn't guard Toast.
And then Toast was one. He was like Candace, that one of those great, amazing all-around athletes, because you could put Toast out on the baseball field.
Yeah, Candace was just another monster. What Candace should have did in basketball, even though she did everything, and she was Miss Wisconsin, and she was the greatest basketball player ever in Wisconsin history, but she wasn't so Smith-like, because we like to share the ball and we're real basketball players. We're real passionate about the game, and we know when to pass, and we're real fundamentals. We're fundamentally sound, and Candace should have just went on an assassin spree and said, fuck everybody else, let me just score 60. She could have did that, and then she would have had multiple state tournaments. You know what I mean? But
that's because it was times she didn't have no help on them teams. Like I didn't feel like she really had help until Kanani came.
But she still wasn't jacking like that though. Candace was giving everybody opportunities, just playing defense, down to earth, humble. You know what I mean? If she just would have turned into an assassin and said, fuck it, guarantee she averaged 50 easily. No one guard her ever.
And she was averaging like 30 anyways.
Yeah, but I'm saying she could even averaging 30 on 12 shots. Imagine she shot that joint 25.
Yeah, because couldn't nobody stay in front of her.
No one could. And she could jump high.
Men couldn't stay in front of her.
I've seen it. Me and Candace beat plenty of people in 2-on-2s. Grown-ass men. Plenty. Yeah. What else we got? What else we got? Southside Raiders. What else we got?
Well, give me your all-time favorite memory. Your all-time favorite memory of playing with the Raiders.
My all-time favorite memory is 1990 championship game. We played the Monona Silver Eagles. So all the Monona Grove guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to come to Penn Park. And they didn't want to because they were scared. You know what I mean? They were scared to come to Penn Park. So my dad said, fine, we'll come to you. He called their bluff. They didn't want to play us. They're like, fine, come to us. He said, make it a night game. So it was a Saturday. I think it was a weekday night, like 7 p.m., dark, under the lights in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. They lined us up, checking birth certificates and all the matching up pictures and whatnot. We said, all right, so be it. Line us up. We about to line y'all up. Watch. First play of the game. Stand up pass to Tim. Scores from 80. They call it back. Out of a different formation. Stand up pass to Steve. We score. They call it back. So now we know what we're dealing with here. You know what I mean? This is what's going to happen. Third play of the game, we run a play, we score 7-0. They get the ball. 3 and out. We go up 14. We end up beating them 56-0 at their house for the championship under the lights. It was the most magnificent game. Everybody ate. It was crazy. It was a great ending to that 1990 season to beat them by that many points. That's my favorite memory.
Adam said MG was scary. We beat him in 1991 for the heavyweight championship.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So many memories, though. I mean, so many friendships built, so much bond, and just the community.
Yep. But they've lasted a lifetime.
Yeah. Got 30+ year friends. You know what I mean? That
all from hitting the hill together.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. You know, my dad and the coaching staff were just mentors and great men. You know, just the way they used to treat us, you know, and abuse us at the same time. But that's part of it. That's part of it. That's what made us so hungry. Made us so good. Other teams
they literally whipped us into shape.
Absolutely.
On all aspects.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I appreciate you tapping in. Definitely want to shout out to all the coaches that are still around and still out there. Rest in peace to the coaches that aren't. Wayne Strong, Coach Mack. You know, we definitely appreciated all of them taking time out of their day to do what they did for us, and didn't get paid for it. That's the other piece. Like, this was all volunteer work. People was really donating their time to kids that they wanted to save, more or less, and give back to the game that probably saved them too.
Yeah, absolutely. Coaching staffs were great. They always look out for you, man. You always are taken care of on the South Side. You know, whether you needed cleats, equipment, you need some food, you need something to drink, anything. Like, they always took care of us. The coaches did. You know what? And our banquets, you know, them putting together those banquets at the Heritage House was crazy. You know, we had
banquets in general. We didn't even talk about that, but just the banquets in general were always live. The families came. You got the awards. You got recognized for being a part of it.
All you could eat buffet at the Heritage House, and them long ass tables. That was crazy. That was man. They call your name. You go up there, give a little speech. Everybody clapping for you. Man,
everybody clapping for you for sure.
Oh, there's another guy right there, Cedric Morris, who got out of the football game early, but then got back in it at West.
No, but definitely appreciate it, Will. So, man, if you guys got anything that you want, or people that you want to see on the podcast, let me know. My email is at the bottom, scrolling through, eubanks.solutions@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out. Let's keep this going. This is a perfect way to bring in 2025. Still talking community, still talking about the love of the sports that have shaped and saved us. So, Will, appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. It's always love.
Always. And until next time, man, y'all be smooth.
All right.